welcome to Ekate's Crossing. Okay, today I'm going to do a playlist of learning tarot. Okay, so you've wanted to buy a tarot deck, you've got your tarot deck here, you've thought about, okay, what do I need to do? I've got my tarot deck, I've got a bag to put it in, I've got a bag of some sort to put it into, or a box that it comes in, or a tin, or a scarf, or whatever you want to do to put it in. Okay, that's your storage. What's the next thing you need? Okay, my suggestion here is a book or a journal of some sort. Now, it can be anything. This is just one book. Let's just grab another. Oh! So, you could grab a book sort of like this sort of papers. Okay, so you want to grab a journal of some sort, a pen, etc. Okay, so that's your first thing you sort of got. Okay, so you want a guidebook. You want to know what, for a bit of study or a bit of learning of the cards, what book am I going to get? Okay, there's some excellent books that you can get in regards to working with tarot, and you can also get some books that are multiple. They've got all sorts of things in them in regards to, let me just grab the book here, I should have grabbed it before. You might grab some sort of encyclopedia or something like this. I just don't want to put it over the, some book like this, Encyclopedia of Prediction, something that's got multiple information in regards to different types of divination or astrology, that sort of thing. Anything to do with prediction or anything to do with sort of cards or tools that you can use for readings and things like that. Or you get specific tarot books, for example, like Tarot Oracles, Divine Tarot Guidance. This is now available. I'm not sure if it's available as an ebook or not still. You can check out on the Tarot Oracles Etsy. You can find it through his YouTube channel, Tarot Oracle. Okay, so there is a book like the Tarot Guidance, which goes into that sort of thing. Or maybe you might pick up Lisa Frankel Trishman's Mindful Tarot. Or you might pick up Benabal Wen's Holistic Tarot. Now, this looks huge. Now, this looks like, oh my God, that's going to be too much for me to read. Don't read it. Use it as a resource material. Very important, sort of when you're starting out, don't get too bogged down by information. Okay, the first thing you want to do is when you get your deck is just to have a look at the images. Just take a minute just to have a look at some images. These are not in order. So you're just going to look at the images. Take a minute just to browse. Have a think about what the images are telling you. Think about your first initial thoughts as you look at each card. What's your thoughts when you look at the cards? What do the colours tell you in this moment? Remember, you're just looking at the images the right way up, in no particular order. You're just having a look at what the cards are telling you in this minute, without any preconceived ideas about what are the tarot card meanings. Let's just look at the images for a second. What's the character doing? What are they wearing? What's surrounding them? What colour's the sky? Are there any animals in the card? Are there any other people in the card? Are you the main character, or do you feel like maybe you're the character that's not so prominent is sort of standing out in the card? Maybe you see something, a tool, or something that sort of stands out in the card. A symbol, a letter, a word, you know, all sorts of things could be standing out in the moment as you look at the card. Just take a minute to sort of this is a Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, okay, and there's lots of varieties, there's lots of versions, editions, lots of creative artwork in regards to these Rider-Waite-Smith type imagery. Okay, so this is what I'm going to start with. I'm not going to get too bogged down by all the other stuff out there. Let's just start with, you've purchased a tarot deck, you're having a look at the imagery, you're just starting to get an idea about what the cards look like. This is what you're doing. You're just looking at, oops, I put the upside down. Okay. I may put some of the cards. So what you're doing is you're having a look and you're looking at the titles, some of the names of the cards. What does that invoke in you? You know, when you look at the cards, how does it make you feel in the moment? Any initial thoughts and ideas about what the cards could mean? That's all you're worrying about right now. That's your first step. Just looking at the cards, looking at the imagery, writing, maybe you want to write it down in your journal, in your diary, on a bit of paper, on the computer, on your laptop, on your iPad, your phone, anything that you can write notes. You're going to write today's date, the name of the card, and what you see, what you feel. That's the first thing you're going to do as you flick through the cards. Just a very quick moment to look through the deck. That's number one. Okay, so that's it from me. Let's get on to part two. Okay, what you're going to do next is you're actually just going to take out the major arcana. So here we are, we're going to go through and we're just going to remove the major arcana. You're not going to worry about anything else right now. Let's just take the major arcana cards. That's the first thing you're going to do. Let's just take out the major arcana. It's going to take a few seconds to do. This is just one way that you can use to sort of develop your knowledge of tarot or of a new deck that you've got coming in. This could be, you know, used for learning a new tarot deck. Just take out the major arcana. Right, that's the first thing. Oops, there's the High Priestess. Judgment of the Sun. So you're just going to take a minute. Okay, so you've got the major arcana. Okay, so you've got the major arcana. Now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick out the Fool. Let's just have a look at the Fool. And what you're going to do is in your journal, write down every single thing. Describe what you see, feel, hear in regards to the Fool. That's the first thing you're going to do. Okay, you're going to look at the Fool. Tell us about the Fool. Who is he? Create a story about who he is or who they are in some level. The essence of the Fool. You decide for yourself, what does the Fool mean? Then you want to go to your tarot guidebook, or maybe you want to go to a something like that's very quick, very short, hasn't got too much information, just got a little bit. Maybe you got a little white book, or you're going into the tarot book, into something that's got lots of different definition. It could be a multi-tool book type of thing, and you go in and you just want to have a look at what the Fool is. Okay, so it hasn't got too much information here. It's got a very small amount. The Fool, not so much foolish as an innocent abroad, young traveller setting out on life's paths. He's unworried, inexperienced, impulsive, fresh, naive, carefree, careless, seeking after truth and enlightenment. There can be wisdom in foolishness. The medieval fool was the only person allowed to criticize his master, for possessions mean few responsibility and perhaps of lack of responsibility. A tabula rasa, a fresh start, a potential, the beginning of the journey, could be the querent themselves. Okay, so what I want you to do is just write down 2 or 3 keywords in your guidebook, in your own journal, should I say, your own resource book, if you like, notebook or whatever. Just write down 2 or 3 keywords that make sense to you in this moment, and you can add to it later. Remember, you're just doing just 2 or 3 keywords out of what I just said, or out of your book, out of your own guidebook, your own resource material. You don't have to do what I just said. You might see something different in your card in regards to the Fool. Okay? Once you've done that, you're then going to go through and do the Magician in the same way. Okay? And then once you've done the Magician, then you go through and do the High Priestess. Okay, and then you're going to do the Empress, the Emperor, okay, the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot. I'm not giving you all the answers. This is just a tool for you to start working for yourself in what the cards could mean in a moment in a reading. Okay, this is your resource. Okay, now, depending on what deck you have, it could be Strength, and in some decks, it can be Justice. Okay, these numbers are interchangeable for number 8 and 11. Okay, so after that, we have the Hermit. Okay, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, again, we either have Justice or Strength, depending on what deck you've got. And the titles could be slightly different. Remember, the titles of the major arcana could be slightly different. Okay, so then we've got the Hanged Man. And then we have Death, which in some decks have no name. They just have the number 13. Then we have Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the moon, sun, judgment, and world. So what you can do is just write, you're going to look up in the book, in your book, you're going to read, and then you're going to write down only 2 or 3 keywords, which you can expand later in your own reference book, your journal, your diary. Just 2 or 3 keywords that stand out. Don't get too complicated. You've looked at your own thoughts, your own something that might stand out in the card, and then you've read a little bit from a book, whether it's a little white book, a guidebook, whether it's a book that has lots of different tools in it for prediction, for reading, or whether you use a specific Rider-Waite-Smith type tarot book, or from an author that has specifically sort of expanded more knowledge in regards to each card, so you can decide for yourself what the meanings could mean in this moment. So that's your major arcana. That's your first step. Okay, that's it. Okay, now I have looked at the major arcana cards. I have looked at the meanings in a guidebook or a book that I'm in regards to Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. I've looked at what it says. I've chosen 2 or 3 keywords for each card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first 7, 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go to the Chariot, right? So we've got 8 cards in this first lot. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going without the book, without the guide. We're going to put the guidebook away. We're going to put our resource material away. And we're going to go, okay, what does the Fool mean to me? Okay, he's youth, he's young. That's my first thought. He's young. He's free-spirited. He's got a young energy. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's a young person, but he has this youthful energy going on about them. Okay, they are youthful, whether they're male or female doesn't really matter, or whatever their gender is. Okay, that they're a youthful sort of energy going on. They're free-spirited. Maybe they're a dreamer in my mind. This is about new beginnings. They're starting his journey. They're starting their journey. Okay, I've got that in my head. This is what I'm thinking about the Fool. Okay, next I'm going to go the Magician. The Magician to me is, okay, so Magician, he manifests his own reality. He creates illusions. What else does a magician do? He is use lots of tools. Has his sense, he's got tools and he's got abilities to create or manifest what he desires in his life. Do you think that he could be trustworthy? There's that sort of iffy energy about him. Maybe you're feeling like maybe this person could, is always doing a sleight of hand, could be a con man. Those are sort of thoughts that are going through my head. Okay, and then you've got this infinity symbol. So there's infinite possibilities, infinite paths to take. The 0 is about that stepping out of the void. Okay, these are the things that are going on. Then you've got the High Priestess. Okay, so who is she? She is someone who has studied, who's been learning lots. There's a lot of learning about them. They're educated. There's that sense of, and educated doesn't necessarily mean book educated, okay? They've got a wisdom or a knowledge about them. They've got a knowledge about them. And that knowledge could seem hidden knowledge, secrets, that sense of sorcery, magic sort of energy in some way, moon energy. You've got the moon here. There's a sense of 2 realms. Maybe they're connected between 2 realms. you know, like you have here with the as above, so below. So you sort of start to get a bit of a picture about things. Okay, the next one is the Empress. And so you're looking at the Empress. The Empress is about fertility, motherhood, the sense of sensuality, the sense of abundance, creative energy, creative force. So they're not just manifesting something, they're actually creating something, giving birth to something. Okay? Then you've got the Emperor. So he's in control. You know, what does the Emperor mean? He rules. It's his way or the highway. He's a provider. There's that sense of promotion. You know, that sort of energy. You know, you might look at the Aries, the ram here. So you've got that sort of Aries energy coming in. Okay, interesting. Next, you've got the Hierophant. Okay, so he's clergy. He's about faith, spirituality, maybe in a more traditional sense. He's the, you know, what's the key to learning? You know, he's a teacher, education, or maybe you're the student learning something new. Those things come in. And okay, so you've got the Lovers. Okay, so what do the Lovers mean? Okay, you've got that sense of relationships, connections. There's a nakedness, a rawness. So the raw could be about the passion, the creativity of it all. The sense of choices to be made in regards to the relationships. You know, maybe there's some choices to be made in regards to what's going on. And then you've got the Chariot, which is about triumph, success, victory, making decisions, choices about the path you're going to take. So that's what you're going to do first, is just go through and very quickly talk about what does each card mean for you. I've given you some quick suggestions, and then what you're going to do is you're going to shuffle the cards, and then you're going to choose a card. Okay, and then you're going to choose a second card. Ooh, okay, so you got the Fool coming in. You got this new beginning, this new journey coming in, and they are connecting with the High Priestess. So what message does the High Priestess have for the Fool? Okay, so what's she going to talk about in connection with this new beginning, this journey, about being cautious, being aware, taking the time to be loyal, maybe being loyal to yourself, being cautious, being aware of what lies ahead. And so the sense of, what does a High Priestess say? The Priestess is saying to the Fool, hey, wait a minute, stop for a second. There's some hidden messages that might need to be revealed. There's a knowledge that needs to be gained. There's something that needs to be learnt before you can step forward into the void. So you go through and you do that. You choose another two cards. Okay, so you've got the Empress here. So who's the Empress going to pair up with? The Hierophant. And so the Empress is about creating this abundance and prosperity. And how does she do that? Through the sense of awakening to one's spirituality, the sense of learning something new, educating oneself, looking at one's belief about the situation and things that are going on. So that sort of gives you an idea in how you can do this. Okay, let's do the next. So you just continue with doing that with those cards. Okay, you continue to do that for yourself. You know, what two cards go together. So that's it. Let's wait for the next. Okay, you've gone through and done the two cards. Okay, so now you're going to take those cards again and you're going to shuffle and you're going to combine three cards. 1, 2, that's interesting, and 3. Okay, so you're going to combine three cards. So you've got the High Priestess. The High Priestess, so you've got someone who has got a lot of secrets, maybe some hidden knowledge, maybe they are a seer or they are a psychic, a reader, card reader, you know, someone who works with the sense of sorcery, magic, maybe they're a witch of some sort. You've got that energy coming in. Okay, so that's what you're going to think about first. What does the High Priestess mean to you in this minute in regards to what do you need to know about today? What's lying ahead for me? Okay, so you've got this energy coming in. It's got some knowledge. And then it's saying, hey, wait a minute, stop. You need to be cautious. Okay, you want to have success. You want to have victory. So you need to stop for a second and decide in which direction you're actually going to move into. Okay? So you're sort of thinking about what does the High Priestess mean for me, and then how can I combine the Fool and the Chariot in a reading? That's your first thought. Okay, so let's do your second one here. So we get the Magician. So who's the Magician going to meet along the way? The Magician meets the Lovers. Okay. Oh, and he meets the Emperor. So the Magician arrives. Who's the Magician? What's the energy about this person? Okay, this person that's coming into your life. What's the message that they're trying to share with you? They're telling you to look below the illusion. Okay, so maybe you've got this idea about what something should be. And they're saying, hey, wait a minute, you've got some choices you need to make in regards to the connection or the relationship, the passion, the creative energy about what's going on in this situation. You know, maybe you've got some desires about something and they're saying, hey, wait a minute, you've got to look below the illusion. Things are not quite as they seem. You need to start taking control. You need to be the leader in that life. You need to look at what do you provide, you know, what are you being provided for in this situation. Okay, so you're going to shuffle the cards again. Take a second. And you're going to pull out 3 more. Okay, so what are the 3 cards? Let's have a look. So we've got the Emperor, the Magician, and the Hierophant. Now, you're not going to have it upside down. You just, because at this stage, you're just sort of working out, you know, these characters. So you've got the Emperor coming in. So you've got someone who's sort of quite, I feel like he's quite bolshy. You know, he's quite in charge. And then he's sort of got, then you've got the Magician energy coming in. So what's it saying about someone who's being a bit bolshy, a bit, maybe sort of my way or the highway type of energy? And so you're saying, hey, wait a minute. You need to look beyond what's on the surface. You need to sort of slow down a little bit. Take a minute to take a breath. You need to maybe learn something new. Maybe there's something you need to discover. You need to look at what your beliefs are and why you're being so bolshy or being so controlling. You know, you need to look below the surface. Well, you need to look deep within yourself because it feels like, you know, there's a lot of stuff you need to learn about this situation. So you can sort of see, you can keep doing that and keep playing with it until you're very confident in doing these cards together. And then what you're going to do is you're going to continue with the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just going to do 7 cards. So you're doing Strength, Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hanged Man, Death, and Temperance. Repeating those steps again. Starting with the individual card, then doing 2 cards, then doing 3 cards. So again, working out what these cards mean for you, depending on your own intuition. A book, a guidebook, whether that's the guidebook that comes with the deck itself, the little white book, and then a actual tarot book that gives you a little bit more information. You're going to choose 2 or 3 words that make sense, and then you're going to use that just to sort of go through. What does Strength mean to me? What does the Hermit mean? What does the Wheel of Fortune mean? Justice, the Hanged Man, Death, and Temperance. And then you're going to do 2 cards, 3 cards. The same thing. And practice, practice, practice in doing that for you. Okay? So that's what you're going to do at this stage. And then you're going to do is you're going to combine both sets. Okay? So you've worked out what these cards all mean. You know what they mean. You can work out what they mean together in a reading. But what you're going to do now is put the two sets together. Shuffle. And then you're going to choose two cards together. So you've got the Hermit and the High Priestess. So you've got the Hermit, so you've got someone who's isolated, who's in solitude. They are in silence. And then you've got the High Priestess coming in. So what does the High Priestess mean in regards to the Hermit? Could mean about that sense of there's some knowledge coming in that comes from being in silence. You know, in meditation and reflection and contemplation. Moving through the moon energies, you know, with the emotions and things. Maybe you're very emotional about the situation, and so being in solitude is going to be very important for you right now. Okay, so you've done the two cards, going through, doing them with all the other ones that are going through. I'm not doing that right now. I'm not going to spend hours doing this. This is just a really quick intro videos with some tools or ideas that you can do. So next you're going to do is pull out three cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've got three cards there. So what does this mean? Okay, we've got Wheel of Fortune. Okay, Wheel of Fortune in regards to destiny or fate. Feels like things are going well. It seems quite a positive sort of energy at this time. But let's have a look and see what the other cards. Oh, it says the... Oh, so maybe things are not going that great at the moment. You need to be a little bit more cautious, a little bit more aware, because you've got someone coming in who's very strong, opinionated, who's my way or the highway type of energy. So you might have thought, oh, things are going really, really well, but, oh, I need to be a little bit more cautious. Even though you've got the Fool here, you've got that sense of, oh, okay, in my mind, I've got the sense of, oh, I need to be a little bit more careful. I got that sense because that cliff is sort of standing out for me right now. That cliff, I'm scared I'm going to be stepping over the edge. So it's saying, oh, okay, I need to be a little bit more careful. I need to look at my decisions, my choices my decisions that I need to make. I feel like I'm going around and around in circles. Things are not going quite as well as what I expect. Maybe it's more about that sense of, am I letting things happen or am I going to take action? And so you've got this Emperor here saying, hey, look, you need to take a little bit more control of your life. You're sort of feeling like you're not really sort of taking control of the direction that you should be moving in. And so you're going to play with the cards in that way. Keep playing until you've got that sense of understanding all of those cards from that two sets. Okay, so that's it from me. Okay, we're up to the last lot of cards. Okay, so you're going to put them aside for a minute. Okay, just put those to one side. And then you're going to pull out the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, and the World. And again, you're going to be able to have this sense of really taking a moment to take a breath and just go through each card, writing down what you see, having a look in the guidebooks, having a look in a tarot book, having a look online. Maybe even you look online and say, okay, so what does the Devil mean to me? Okay, so what does the Devil mean? Okay, what stands out? The restrictions, the chains, the addiction, the sense of, maybe you need to break free from those things that are going on. So you're going to go through and do that with each of these cards. Okay, I'm not going to go through them all. This is for your study. These are just some tools for you that you can do on your own, writing in your own journal, your own thoughts, your own remember 2 or 3 keywords from all the information that you know about these cards, just 2 or 3 keywords. Keep it simple when you're learning. Okay, don't get too complicated. I know there's a lot more layers to the cards, but let's just keep it really simple to start with. This is what you're doing. You're just going to keep it really simple. You know, and I think that's why sometimes tarot can be a little bit overwhelming, because there's so much information. There's so many different layers to reading the cards, depending on who you speak to. Different readers will read in different ways, so find what works for you is so important. And again, you're going to shuffle the cards, and you're going to choose 2 cards. Okay, so what 2 cards? So you've got the Sun and Judgment. Okay, so you've got the sense of happiness and joy and things being revealed. It's a new day. And then you've got that's interesting, because you've got this new day, and then you've got this resurrection, this awakening, spiritually, awakening to the truth, being honest about the situation, maybe acting with discernment. What does judgment mean to you? And then you're going to do it with 3 cards. You know, once you've been through and you've done it with 2 cards and you're confident with the way that the cards read together, you're then going to pull 3 cards. And so you're going to go through and you got the Moon, Judgment again, seems interesting, and the Star. Okay, so what is the energy of the Moon? Cycles, emotions, like the tides of the emotions, the sense of reflection, unknown energy. There's that going into the unknown. You know, what are you afraid of? What are you scared of? You know, what are your enemies? Sometimes we're our own worst enemies. And I'm sort of start to rambling about my own thoughts about the cards, but you can decide for yourself what it means for you. Then Judgment. Judgment could be about that resurrection, that awakening, that just acting with discernment, not being so judgy. And then also I get the sense of sometimes it's important to blow your own trumpet. You know, and then this sort of reminds me of Red Cross as in healing energy. Okay, and then you've got the Star standing between two worlds, standing between 2 worlds or 2 realms. You've got the Star as like the wish upon a star sort of energy. You got the water, so you got that emotion energy coming in, and so maybe you're needing to deal with some emotional stuff going on. There's a light out of all the darkness in the sky, and so you're thinking, okay, so what does the Moon, Judgment, and the Star mean together? You got that Moon, so you're talking about cycles, maybe something you're afraid of, and so you sort of maybe need to sort of resurrect who you truly are. Maybe you need to be a little bit more honest with yourself in some way, and you might need to sort of, this might be about facing your fears, being honest with yourself as you face your fears, moving on to new cycles, and sort of maybe pour out some of that emotional stuff, acknowledge some of that emotions, know that there is a lightness out of all the darkness. And so you're sort of thinking to yourself, okay, this is what this could mean. Let's have a reflective moment, and let's keep this out, let's write this down, let's have a look at it again at the end of the day. Maybe something more will come out through it. Okay, so you've got all those major arcana cards, and so you've pulled out the other 2 sets, and you've got all 3 sets together. Okay, so now you're going to start looking at spreads. So you might go, okay, I want to know about my relationships right now. I want to know about my relationship. So let's have a look. What's the foundation of that relationship? Okay, what's the foundation? What's hidden in the relationship? Okay. What's influencing me at the moment in regards to the relationship? And what could the possible outcome be in regards to the relationship? So let's have a look. So the first one was the Moon. Okay, the foundation of the relationship. Moving into new cycles. Next we have the Tower. Then we've got the Emperor. And then we've got the High Priestess. And so we need to work out what that means for us in that moment in regards to the questions that I just asked. And my brain's gone befuddled. Okay, so we've got the Moon, the Tower, the Emperor. So we've got what's hidden. So the foundation of the relationship is that sense of cycles. Maybe there's new cycles. Maybe there's something that we're afraid of in regards to the relationship. What's hidden is the fact that the world's shaky. Things might not be quite what they seem. Maybe we have to take a leap of faith in regards to the relationship. What's influencing the relationship? Maybe he's controlling. He's controlling. Okay, and what's the outcome is maybe a lot of secrets are going to be revealed in regards to the relationship. So there's something to sort of think about there. So that's what you're going to do, is start doing some spreads with all the major arcana. Maybe it's about your career. You know, what do I need to know about my career right now in regards to my current job? What do I need to actually know about my current job? Mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Okay, so mentally, I need to know there's some changes going on. There's some shift. I'm moving into new stuff. Mentally, I'm mentally shifting. Okay, this is my thoughts and ideas, plans, communication. Okay, so emotionally, I'm going through some huge changes. It's interesting. I'm going through some transformation, some changes. Okay, physically, I need to use my inner strength, my inner courage. I need to have some endurance. I need to have some stamina to move through this career. Okay, and then spiritually, okay, maybe I'm stuck. You know, maybe I'm stuck. Maybe things are not quite going out the way I think. Spiritually, it feels like maybe things could be positive. Spiritually, if I work with the changes and the transformation, use my strength and my inner courage. Physically, spiritually, I'm going to be okay. Everything's going to turn out all right. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to practice and practice with the major arcana only. Okay, that's it.